After about 2 weeks and a whole lot of sanding, I finally finished the arm armor for my Clone Trooper build. I'm going to show you exactly how I did it today on Darth Rage Reviews.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Greetings, Force fans, and welcome to another episode of Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force. Guys, business first, as always, business first. If you guys would be polite enough to hit that subscribe button down there in the corner, the notification bell that's somewhere down there in the corner. That way you're notified every time I drop videos. I drop them all the time, sometimes multiple videos a day. If you like Star Wars, cosplay, all that jazz, you'll like this. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's free. That's the bonus. Today only. It's free. Click it. You won't be disappointed. All right, guys. So in front of me, you see the arm armor for my Clone Trooper build. Yes, I have actually completed this after probably almost 3 weeks of a whole lot of sanding. So this is the first part of my armor that is taking two pieces and turning them into one. And that's where all of the fun starts, because you've got to basically, there's a seam right here and right here. And you have to make those seams go away. And to do that, it takes a whole lot of sanding. I had to actually work with something I've never worked with before. It's Abs Slurry. You kind of create it yourself using scrap pieces of ABS and acetone, which is a fingernail polish remover. So kind of self-taught myself how to do that, and basically created the first of my seamless pieces of armor, which would be this forearm piece and the bicep piece on both arms. So, like I said, 2 weeks, there's not a whole lot of excitingness to this. It's, literally just sanding over and over and over again, filling, sanding. But yeah, let me show you guys how I did this, how I created the elbow pads, the hand grips, the forearms, the biceps, the shoulders, all of it, as well as the rigging system. So I'm going to show you how I did that. Then I'll put this all on so you can kind of see where I'm at so far on the build. Let's take a look. All right, so I started having to smooth out the edges of the pieces I had to cut out of the ABS plastic. So I did that with a Dremel and with some sandpaper that I had there flat on the table just to create a flat edge. Wanted to make as little of a gap as possible between these two pieces, because it would save me a whole lot of time later on filling that gap. So Dremel, sand, Dremel, sand, Dremel, sand until I get as little of an edge as possible. Also trying to smooth some of the other edges as well while I'm here. Got the Dremel out, why not? Then I created the ABS Slurry. Did that by cutting up some excess pieces of ABS I had lying around. That's the plastic this stuff is made out of. And put it in a glass jar. It's very important it's glass. With some acetone. That's just fingernail polish remover. Let that sit for overnight, and then it turns into basically a plastic paste. That it's really cool. It chemically welds to the plastic. So you're basically creating one welded object here. Don't ask me how you do it. It's science. Science is cool. So I did this all with, created a shim and then pasted it on and combined those pieces with clips. Then it's a matter of filling in the gaps in the armor. And I did this with all my armor at once. You just kind of paste this stuff on there like a putty, get it all down there in the seams. And again, science does its thing and it chemically welds together. It's the coolest thing ever. Creates a really hard bond that you're going to then have to come back and sand. So then I came back through and took care of all the rough edges on all of these pieces with the Dremel, just getting them exactly how I wanted them to look, smoothing them down as much as possible. The Dremel does a good job of taking off big chunks, but even with the sandpaper attachment there, you got to come back afterwards with some sandpaper to smooth it out. So did this with all the pieces on the edges, sandpaper to smooth it. Then I started going at the seams. And guys, I'm not going to show you how much sanding I did on this. I literally sanded for a week and a half on these pieces. And then after sanding and filling and sanding again, you end up with a smooth surface like this, and it's ready to paint. It took a while. Then I had to add the clips for the harness system. That was just some E6000 and some glue. While that was drying, I took care of the detail work on the knees. The knees were really, really easy. Just trim those up. Again, trim and then sand, follow up with some hand sanding just to take care of those rough edges. And then I didn't show you the process of gluing in the straps and stuff, but I do show you the process of gluing in some padding. So I added some EVA foam padding still sanding. Hand sand, hand sand, hand sand. I can't go over how much sanding there was. And I cut out some EVA foam and put those, glued those into both pieces using my trusty clips and some E6000. Did the same with the straps and the elastic to hold those in, although I did not record that. Sorry. Then it's on to the forearms, same thing. Dremel work to take these down. I wanted to make them as wide as possible just so I could fit my hands through. And then hand sanding to follow that up. Hand sand, Dremel, hand sand, back and forth. Then it's some filler primer and then cover up the seams with Bondo glazing spot putty and then sand and then filler prime and then sand and then glazing spot putty and then sand. I'm not going to show you how many times I did this, but it was about 3 or 4 days on all these pieces taking care of this. It was ridiculous. A whole lot of sanding. So after that, I did have to glue the compad onto the right forearm, and that was a little E6000 and some overnight magic, and it's done. And then it's time to paint. You end up with something like this after all of that sanding. You get a nice smooth surface. You do not see that seam at all. Very proud of my work here. You can't see it. I did had to add color to both forearms. I didn't show you guys the white paint, but yeah. Couple coats of white and then the colored stripe on the front of both forearms. The time of magic is removing that tape. I love removing tape if you've done a good job with it. And I did not do a bad job with this one. So ready to go on the accent painting. This is always fun. It's all acrylic black here, and I'm doing some blaster marks on all the pieces. Coming through just, this guy's seen some action, so he's got blaster marks. So blaster marks on everything as well as detail work. I'm doing some dry brushing on the seams and the edges just to kind of make them pop a little more. Then, after all is said and done, it's time to get to the dry wash the black wash weathering. And that's just acrylic watered down paint. And I kind of take it over everything. Sorry, I'm actually still doing blaster marks. I love my blaster marks. Blaster marks on everything. Because again, my boy has seen some action. Little detail work as well, and dry brushing that black in there just to make the accents and the angles pop on these things. Then it's time for the acrylic black wash. And I just paint that watered down acrylic black paint over everything. And then I cover it or wipe it off with a paper towel. 2 or 3 coats on all the pieces. Makes it really dirty and makes it really look used. That's how you do it. And when it's all put together, this is what you end up with. So guys, this is 90% done. I'm still got a little bit of adjustment to do on the 2 shoulder straps and the harness. I'm going to wait till I get everything done because I want to see how it sits with the full chest armor on. Also need to add some elastic straps onto the shoulder pads just to hold those down as well, the shoulder belts. But this fits and moves very, sorry about that. This fits and moves very, very well. I can do kind of all kind of movement and it's not going anywhere, which I love. Plus, Elvis said it makes me look buff. I agree it does. That added shoulder and bicep girth, makes a little guy like me feel pretty tough. Anyway, so let me show you kind of how this all puts together. So the hand pads are simply Velcroed onto the gloves. These gloves are Nomex flying gloves. They're actually very cool. I love the fact that they're touchstring gloves, so I don't have to take them off or use a stylus when I'm shooting videos in full cosplay, so that's good. So that just simply velcros right onto the glove like so. Very simple. The forearms just slip on, and again, that's a very easy thing. I've seen some that attach these all the way up, and I may, because this one does slip up and down a little bit, I might attach it up. I might put some foam in here to hold it a little tighter. I'm not sure. So minor adjustments. So then the elbow pad is really cool. So it's got this strap, which is really just, imagine this being the armor for your strap. This is the strap that actually holds it on, and it's just a little piece of elastic. So that sits there, and then this piece, kind of sits out like so. Very easy. This was an easy piece to put together. All the one piece, the knockoff pieces like this have been very simple to finish. The shoulder bells as well. So then this whole harness system, take the glove off so it's easier to get to. So this is simply clipped on to something that I've glued underneath the bottom of my neck seal. So it's a clip system. The clip's there, and then the bicep clips into that like so. Very simple. Just harnesses up, and then when you get it all together, that's how it goes. So very, very pleased with my progress thus far. So guys, I had a goal. I'm shooting for end of June, beginning of July. Very kind of just personal reasons that I'm looking to get this done and submitted and hopefully approved for 501st by then. So I think I'm going to actually kind of kick that timeline up a bit. Now I'm shooting, because after this, every other piece, all the other two-piece parts that I have already been joined together by the person that I bought it from. So all I have to do is smooth out seams on those. I've got a couple difficult things to do, which are going to be the shoe spoons, the shin spoons. That is going to be, I'm not really looking forward to that. It's a process. The side piece where I kind of clip that in, as well as the button cod and how it comes together. A little bit nervous about that, but I really don't think it's, once I dive into it and just get over my reticency, I think it won't be that difficult. So, honestly, it's not a whole lot of work in front of me on this, and I'm going to shoot for a May 4th. I want May the 4th be with this clone trooper, and I'm going to shoot to get it done by May 4th. At least something presentable. Not necessarily something 501st submittable, but something that I can wear and show and, just be proud of. So I'm shooting now for May 4th. I get a little bit quicker, but I'm going to have to take a couple weeks off because I'm going to Disney World. So, a lot of this is going to kind of go on hold for a little bit. So let me know, guys, in the comments, what do you think of my progress so far? I think it looks good. I think I've, well on the way to getting this Clone Trooper build complete. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. As always, I am Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.